Good evening, good afternoon, good night, and welcome to another scene in Odessa, The Dark Crusade, Season 2. The scene finds us at the Blooming Rose, the establishment of one Fabio Orsini, an ancilla of Clan La Sombra. And in one of the alleys next to this fine establishment of questionable morals, we see Sister Madeleine approach.
That we do indeed. Madeline is by herself this evening. She needs to see her brother, catch up, talk to him in person. Who knows? Does she have plans? Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? She will just make her way in and have a look around. The place doesn't. It does seem to be. I mean, there are like few changes, but it pretty much looks like itself as far as she can remember. And she will.
You recognize all the ghouls, like most of the ghouls, and the usher, small gentleman with not that many teeth. The moment he sees you, he freezes and puts his head down. My lady. Basically, all the ghouls around that probably know Madeline just do the same thing. Head down. Ultimate respect. And they lead you to Orsini's study. Though probably by now you already know the way.
Brother? Are you? And she knocks the door. You there?
Orsini goes to open the door. Ah, sister! Oh, how nice of you to join me. Please, come in.
Thank you.
Orsini closes the door behind him. So, to what do I owe the honor, my sister?
Well, it is. We only met very briefly, so I really did want to have a little, a calm and quiet chat. I see that the place has been reintroduced to its original intention.
Yes, I had some work done, though mainly for me, not for the customers, though some modifications were in order.
So, we wrote and sent messages back and forth, but tell me, now that you are back in the city, do you have any, well, I'm sure you have a lot of things that can keep you occupied, but do you have any present priorities?
Well, as you remember, I spent a while in the Castle of Shadows training with some of our eldest in my particular set of arts. Now that I came back and I see Odessa in this state of turmoil, there are some things that caught my attention. First and foremost, like our brother told us, this Black Mary needs to be taken care of. And I do have a certain thing in mind. Actually, you might be interested as well. I'm sure you are aware of the fact that the Tramier have increased their influence in the city since the days that we were young.
I am well aware.
This monopoly that they try to impose upon blood magic is unnerving, to say the least. And if our brothers' efforts, noble as they may be, do not manage to track this Black Mary and put her to justice, he might need aid in a field in which he doesn't have the experience that the two of us have. I wish to form an association, a coterie, like they used to be called, of mystics, mages, if you will, of the city. Of course, excluding the Premier from this matter, to put them in their place and prove our uses. Unfortunately, as far as I know, from our clan, it's only me and you that have dabbled in these arts. But I'm sure there are others, Assamites, Setites, Semitsi, that might have a talent in their particular field of blood magic.
How much do you know of this monopoly they wish to impose?
I spent the better part of the last century visiting Europe and the north of Africa. And though I did not reach the baronies of Avalon, I have seen that our old countries have given the Tremere more and more rights. They are, after all, a young clan. The fact that they have a lot of pretensions does not do them good. And the fact that our brothers occupy themselves with other matters, denying the birthright of the mystics inside the clan, and denying their usefulness and ability, while in the meantime occupying themselves with this shadow reconquista, as they call it, this useless feud between La Sombra that are Christian and La Sombra that are Muslim, that I'm sure is not only a matter of faith, but more a matter of pride. We need to focus on enemies outside the clan, not spend our time on petty quarrels.
I would say that quite a lot of us do focus on at least the outside of the clan, given the peace that exists in this city, but I take your point.
I have the blessing of our primogen and seneschal on this matter, for he clearly stated that as long as I do not violate the tenements of the Treaty of Omens, and I do not force anyone to join me, that I do nothing wrong. The fact that wielders of blood magic from the other clans are few and far between in recent nights should be a matter of concern. The fact that the Tremere pride their secrecy more than their efficiency and their willingness to cooperate is as well a matter of concern.
Well, they do seem to cooperate quite nicely with the Ventru and the Toreador, but they are brothers in arms, but still, they do. Maybe they are just a bit more upfront with they're wanting to have a return on their favor when they give assistance.
They barter their tricks in hopes of gaining status, in hopes of gaining boons, nothing more. There is nothing authentic.
And the most of the Lasambra don't.
Yes, but the big difference is that our clan is as old as the others, and that we are an established high clan in all of the cities in which we inhabit. We do not barter tricks, and we do not gain status from magic. We gain status by our skills and our abilities, and the fact that some of us wield the power of the primordial dark does not make us itinerant court magicians.
Do not misunderstand me, brother. I agree with you that the Tremere are to be very, very scrutinized in more than one way. But making such a public, what shall we say, declaration that you would form a group of mistakes, but with their unique exception, well, it will force them to respond. And when they respond, well, they will know that they have enemies, and well, that is in my mind maybe giving them a little too much, what is it, heads up.
I do not wish to state this publicly, the fact that I have the decency of sharing my plans with my clan is courtesy. The fact that I am so open to speak with my seneschal or you or the others of our clan does not mean I'll present my little plan in the same way to members of the other clans.
Of course not. But one must, with dealing with Assamite and Setite, well, one must have it as a real possibility that secrets are maybe not held too costly when it is not only within our own clan.
I do not plan on revealing too much to the others. We are, after all, an alliance of a situational matter. For all the others of the other clans will know, I wish to form a group of like-minded individuals. It is not only for the neonates to form their coteries and their alliances. I wish in no way to undermine the treaty, and should the Tremere be hot-headed enough to feel that my initiative endangers their place, can decide to act against the treaty that was put in place to save their skin from the Salubri and the others that wish them to be no more, then we shall see. The Tremere are a lot of things, but foolish they seldom are.
Not from what I have seen. Well,
And I would
there
not.
are always exceptions to the rule, of course. And like you can tell that she smiles at that, but she doesn't say anything else. She just smiles.
And I would not run headfirst to the Assamites or the Sithites. We have older allies that dabble in the mystical arts. Allies who time and time again prove their youth and their honor. And I'm referring to the Shemiti.
The Samitsi would undoubtedly agree to anything that would counter the Tremere's interests. Of that I have absolutely no doubt. It is just to mention the notion of setites in the same. I would not deal with them unless well, personally, if my existence depended on it.
The Setites are the last on my list, of course. It's wish to speak to the Semites first, and after that to the Assamites. Both their skills in the magical arts and their, how should I put this, dislike for the Tremere should be cause alone for them to rally to my call.
This is more agreeable. If you were to take all other avenues instead of just inviting the Setites on equal footing as the rest, then I can see more merit in this arrangement.
They make small difference between the Setites and the Tremere when it comes to bartering their skills. But still, if push comes to shove with these infernalists, I would not take away their merits. The biggest threat to the stability of our city is and will always be Clan Tremere. They wish too much for themselves for such a young clan. Maybe they will give others ideas. Who knows? Last time, someone of the low clans decided to be high and mighty. We had to serve under a Nosferatu in an uncomfortable situation, so to speak. I'm sure I do not need to remind you of that. The high clans are high for a reason and the low clans are low for a reason. There's a reason why there never was a clan that transitioned from one to the other. The fact that the Tremere, as a young clan, wishes to challenge the authority of a clan that's older and more established, like the Salubri, gives me enough cause for concern.
There are lots of things to be quite concerned about, but keeping these Tremere's usurpers in check is a good enough endeavor. I myself have some other pressing priorities at the moment, but I will assist you if necessary.
Should you find it worth your time, sister, I would appreciate it. You are, after all, one of the people that ran the city in the absence of our brother. You know most of the people of the city better than I do. You could at least point me in the right direction. And as far as I remember, you have shown your interest in the mystical arts at some point. Should that interest still reside within you, you're more than welcome to join.
Well, I will take it under advisement. I already dedicate a lot of my time to reading, studying, and now I must spend more time on other cordial matters, so at least assisting, but I should find the time for it.
And as far as I go, there is another matter that's caught my attention. These newcomers, the Greeks. They visited me the last night. They are interesting characters, so to speak.
Residents of Constantinople, or?
No, I refer to our two sisters, Lady Argilis and
Oh.
Lady Alexandris. I thought that they might have interests in my little plan, specifically since Lady Alexandris shows a particular flaw that members of the mystics often show. Her shadow, from what I noticed, is lively. Not as much as mine, but still. Though she gently refused my offer. There is something strange about that woman that I do not like, sister. Maybe she needs to be shown how the La Sombra Bedesa work and why we are one of the strongest clans. And why the three of us, and I mean you, me, and my brother, managed to hold the fort in times of greater peril.
Well,
Why we are the ones that set the foundation of what Edessa is today.
well, I suppose we should give her a time to show. Maybe she is, maybe what they both are capable. Maybe, I mean, I have not seen or heard of them, so I do not know what their capabilities like. If they require help or education to become better, well, we can provide that. Maybe they are already capable. If they are, we should welcome them as sisters. But
There is
you said that you're. Have you ever? Have you ever experienced not a person but a locale, a place, having an effect on one's shadow? I wonder.
if a place has effect on shadows. Not that I remember. Though shadows, as we see them, are a more complex phenomenon than just the absence of light. As far as our sisters go, there is something I do not like about this Lady Alexandris. The fact that she openly prides herself with wanting power is gonna prove a detriment to her collaboration with us, so to speak. The fact that she treats her child like a piece of meat, though I find it distasteful, is her choice and her choice alone.
Oh, brother, please. Look where we are. Treating things as pieces of meat is not that distasteful to you, surely.
Yes, but my girls work of their own accord. I do not use the powers of the blood to convince them to do something. And when it comes to ghouls and assistants of the mortal variety, the roles are different. Yet you have known my children ever since they were ghouls, and you can clearly state the fact that I never treated them as such. And they are, both of them, upstanding neonates of our clan without the need of intensive education, so to speak. This might be my own version of dealing with such matters, but crushing neonates before releasing them, I feel is more inclined to crush their potential and their curiosity than form them as upstanding members.
Well, as parents have different ways of raising their children, we have different ways of raising our child there.
Indeed, sister, though some methods have proven more effective than others, and I'm not the only one to state this.
Indeed, they
Maybe,
have.
maybe after her sire releases her, this young one might prove more useful. Though the fact that she barely has the courage to utter a word in front of another without the permission of her sire, I find it distasteful.
Hmm. I have not seen them too much. I honestly cannot judge, at least
Yes,
at the moment.
I talked to them a little last night, and I managed to prove to Lady Alexandres that her methods of teaching are insufficient and flawed. There are only so many things you can teach through fear and panic and an iron fist. Maybe she saw the light of my demonstration, maybe she didn't. I do not dare impose on the education of someone's child, though if their education is lacking and that child gets released without the proper knowledge, it will reflect badly on the entire clan. We have
Do
a
not worry.
position.
I will correct it if necessary. I am somewhat of a teacher myself.
I know this, sister. Though I do not question your methods, I question hers. The fact that Lady Alexandres is so hungry for power, so hungry for recognition in this city, like most newcomers are, is something that is not befitting of her age and status.
I suppose time will tell.
What was that?
I suppose time will tell.
Yes, but unfortunately, we should concentrate our efforts on the larger matters at hand, not have to correct flaws in our own plan. We
Or
need, we need, like time and time again, regardless of the petty feuds between us, to prove, like you once said 100 years ago, as a united front in front of the other clans, lest we give them reasons to undermine our authority.
quite so. I must ask you, I was the reason I asked these changes in the shadow. It was not something I have experienced before, but I did experience it last night in the Arab slums. It was different. There was it was also associated with a certain feeling of fear or discomfort in that area. Have you ever heard of something like that?
I have just recently come back to the city, sister, and my current condition, this condition that I brought back with me from Sicily, makes traveling through the city delicate for me. Though, if you think that this is a cause for concern, I shall conduct my own investigations via my childer
I
or
would,
myself.
I would perhaps advise against it. Since it is a delicate matter that the Primogen has I will accompany you, and we can look at it together. I do
Either
not have
that,
much. Well,
either that, or I could use my other talents to investigate. Talents that have proven useful in the past, and talents that do not require me to be anywhere in person.
well, we should not interfere. There is a that place is connected to an agreement that Ulrich and I struck with a group that I am we acquire in contact with.
They are, after all, residents of the domain of the prince. And I do not plan on insulting anyone. I just wish to send a scout, gather some information of my own. Should this agreement that you struck with them years ago prove lacking, maybe there are other actions that we need to take care of.
No, no, you can send a scout. It is just important that you tell him not to confront anyone. I think there should be no problem if we can agree on that.
I'm not one to incite combat system. You know,
I know.
I find it distasteful, and I'm not a great swordsman myself. I have other means of dealing with that aspect, those aspects. But still, should we require information, I will. I wish to remind you that to speak to a former master of Harpies, information is my terrain.
Oh, I know. I simply wish to stress the importance of the delicacy of this matter. That is all.
I shall handle it with the utmost delicacy, sister.
I think
I'm
we will
not.
make a problem.
And you see Orsini smiling. I am nothing if I'm not delicate.
I met one of them last night.
And
Well, I could talk with him for more than a couple of minutes, so that is always something, I suppose.
would you mind giving me a bit more information about these residents? The more I
Well,
know, the more I can find out.
I know so very little. They seem to be well aware, if not scholarly. They do know to keep a lot of things very close to the chest. And likewise, this brigand, this criminal, he tried to elicit information from me about our kind. So that should at least tell you that they are somewhat guarded and somewhat know the very, very high price of information and the high price of, well, divulging information without getting something valuable in return.
I take it that they are not Canaanites.
No, far from it.
I see. Well, I shall investigate this matter in my own time, though I'd rather focus on investigating potential infernalists in the city. But if this community proves to be a thorn in our side in a time of great turmoil, they might need to be dealt with faster.
Or there might be a potential solution to a problem we also have, or might have. I have quite a few plans in motion. I think this Black Mary situation and these people might just be a solution to each other, but it is a plan I am working on.
Might be. But if these residents prove to find working with this Black Mary more resourceful than upholding the tenets of the treaty that you and our brother signed with them a long time ago, they might prove an extra enemy and an extra thorn in our side in a time where we need it least.
Well, if that is proven, the whole city will rise against them.
We cannot afford to spread out our forces now.
Well, they will be quite united. Well, tell me something. You spoke of infernalists. Do you wonder? It is, you know that I am very fond of Ulrich, and we have, the two of us, Ulrich and me, have a quite close relationship. But do you believe him to be completely able to see the entire picture of the situation?
Idealistic as Ulrich may be, he's not a fool. The fact that we had our quarrels in the past and that we seldomly see eye to eye
No, this is
not
what I am referring to. He was at the seat of Michael. I mean, one of us, uh, at some age, being able to be emotionally distraught on this scale will result to grief, wants of vengeance, and quite a few other things. It is this that makes me question, only a little, but it still makes me question whether or not we can actually completely trust what he has seen or what he purports to be happening. He might be, if not blinded, at least so focused and motivated by vengeance that he would do quite a lot of things and say quite a few things to get us to make this our foremost priority. Again, I am not saying that I doubt him, but I cannot say that I have not thought of this.
as I have as well, but unfortunately I haven't managed to speak to Ulrich since I came back to the city. The fact that he is focused on apprehending the killer of Michael is understandable. And though I do not uphold the tenets of the dream as closely as Ulrich does, infernalists are not to be tolerated in any city. Consider it a personal matter. Most people consider the mystics infernalists because we deal with matters that they do not understand. So it's also a matter of keeping faith and proving to the city that I am not a demon worshipper.
If there are indeed infernalists working with this person, they will be turned to dust, all of them.
It
Do
is.
not get me wrong, I am merely just voicing a concern, and that is all.
I see, sister, and you know I work with the utmost precaution. But should Ulrich and his concerns be proven right, at least in part, dealing with this Black Mary would prove a great asset to the city. It would put us on the map, so to speak. It would prove that the La Sombra of Edessa are a force to be reckoned with as much as our brothers in Spain. That would be the first matter. The second matter is that regardless of her strength and her authority, she is, after all, the one who slew the Patriarch of Constantinople, putting a price on her head is something that a lot of people have done. The rewards would be great, and in the last, as a last point I wish to make, slaying this creature would bring our brother back, would restore Ulrich, the Ulrich we once knew. He is so focused on this matter that he might even endanger his life for the ideal of the dream. I would rather help him on his foolish quest than see him as a pile of ashes at my feet.
Truly.
Besides the elders of Edessa, the ones that have answered our call so many years ago, are capable and wise elders. Should we manage, with Ulrich's assistance, to rally them under a single banner, I think this Mary would stand no chance. I have a feeling that whoever led her to Michael managed to do so in a time of great trust, so to speak. Yet we are on guard, and we are aware of the fact that any newcomer that comes into the city will be thoroughly analyzed. Mistrust among us is what the infernalists wish to nurture. The moment when we do not trust each other, even inside our own clan, is the moment where we fall. United we stand, after all. This is why I wish to form this council, this coterie, this, call it however you like. I will not lie to you, sister, and tell you that this is the sole reason why I want to do this, is the noble reason of dealing with the infernalist, though this is one of its main. I have my own reasons why I wish to investigate other talents and other aspects of the mystical arts, and undermining the Krog-Meyer is not the only reason, but still we have, at least from what I've seen in the short time since I returned, two big problems in the city, and now that you made me aware of it, even three. We have an unknown community inside us that could, for all we know, rally to the call of our enemy. We have the Krog-Meyer that wish to bite off more than they could chew. And we have an infernalist of remarkable skill and ability that could hide among us, that needs to be dealt with for a couple of reasons. The first being that we wish for our brother to come back to his senses and rejoin us as a valued member of our clan. The second would be that no infernalist should be left alive. And the third would be that the reward that's set on the head of this Black Mary would bring enough honor to us as a clan into the city as well, to manage to grow and develop Edessa. We are, after all, the three neonates that managed to hold the city. It was that brought us within the confines of the Friends of the Night. It is that made us what we are today. It is that matter that gives us the confidence to throw our weight around, like some naysayers might say. Though we seldomly see eye to eye, the three of us, I don't think I need to remind you what happens when we rally amongst the common goal. And the fact is that it's not the three of us anymore. Our seneschal is more than capable of providing us aid. These newcomers might prove useful if they learn their place. And the other clans could be rallied should we have an able-bodied diplomat such as yourself presenting the case to them. I shall, in the meantime, conduct investigations and request audiences with some of the Primogen, specifically the Shemizi and the Assamite, to present to them my little plan and be directed in the right way. Consider it boosting up the magical defenses of the city. And I am sure that, at least when it comes to these two clans, that my plans will not be divulged to the Premier.
Very well. And this is good to hear that you have faith, and it's seemingly quite a good plan.
But I have spoken too much about myself, sister. I'm sure you have your own plans. And you might find that some of them could be aided. Should I be aware of anything? Could I provide you help with any of your matters?
Not at the moment. I still have quite a few new faces in the city that I need to meet and get a good grasp of. But once I do, well, I might have some things I will need to look at. But, well, there is one thing. There is one thing that I still need to figure out exactly what Ulrich said, that this Black Mary is looking for something in this area, around the city or in the city. I wonder if it is related to what makes this city unique when we first appeared here, when we first came here. Or if it is related to the Red Man, or if he is still here. And my curiosity has not been sated. I still want to know what exactly happened to the previous occupants of this fine city. All my time I have spent looking for it and gained little insights. It's disconcerting.
Unfortunately, you know as well as I do that the only two that have walked around Edessa before we came and before this purge are the Red Man, who cannot exactly be found and reasoned with, like most of his clan, and Osam, my Chalder, who was but a ghoul back then. And you know that his mind is not his own. He does not remember, and I do not wish to poke at his mind more than I already did. He has other uses.
Oh, I know. But this is one of the things that I will be spending quite a bit of time on.
Maybe petition the primogen of the Malkavian to try and find and speak to the Red Man. He might prove more helpful to one of his own brood.
That is an idea, at least. Although I do, you can never really tell with him. He is truly a very potent member of his blood.
Yes, but it comes down to either the primogen of the Malkavians or the prince himself to talk to him.
I know. Well, brother, I must thank you for this very lovely evening to speak with you, and give my regards to your child when you have the chance. I have not met them since I've been back, but I'm looking forward to speaking with them.
I'm sure they'll be more than happy to hear that you are back as well. I will send them your regards. I'm sure that you will meet them soon enough. You know, my sister, that my door is always open to you.
And mine to you as well, brother. Please, have a very good evening. And yes, I will be in touch. And after Madeline just, thanks and does a couple of bows, she will leave the establishment. And the scene will come to an end. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching.